Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Avery Bishop and I am a first generation law student. I'm graduating law school early in December and I am most definitely not a straight A student, but many of you have asked for my top tips for studying, especially for those of you who are lazy students like myself. In undergrad, I almost finished with a near perfect GPA, a 3.9978. I don't even remember the specific number, but it went beyond the decimal point by like 9 places. That being said, now that I started law school and am about to finish, I became a student who am just generally excited to learn but could care less about making straight A's. That being said, I do have some tips for those of you who want to continue your love of learning while putting in like the least amount of effort while putting in an efficient amount of time into studying and being productive so that you can enjoy other things in life aside from studying. Before we get into the first tip, I'm gonna sip on my coffee. I'm also in the law library. You can see some of the bookshelves in the back, so I'm not speaking too loud, otherwise someone might come over to this little room and knock on my door. I am also not going to edit this video at all. It's just going to be a 10 to 15 minute video of me talking. Not even gonna edit out my ums, whatever. I just don't have time to edit anything anymore, and I just want to upload content for you guys. Let me know if you like this type of format of video. I know that most YouTubers and influencers edit their videos like crazy, but I am just going to hopefully make this my one and done shot because I have my notes pulled open right here and I'm ready to go. All right. The first tip of my 5 tips for lazy students when it comes to studying is make your bed. Make your bed in the morning. I am not the most pristine, clean person on the face of the planet. I never was and I never will be. And I most certainly am not one of those influencers where my whole aesthetic is white and clean, crisp sheets. Everything is put away. There's no laundry. My place where I live looks like it's lived in because I live in my apartment. That being said, the one thing that I do every morning when I wake up to start the day is make my bed. How does this relate to being a student and studying efficiently? Research shows that if you make your bed, you're less likely to get back in it. And throughout high school, I never made my bed and I would always go back into it and do a lot of my homework from my bed. I found that when I was in bed doing homework, I would end up watching Netflix or YouTube videos for hours and not actually paying attention to what I was learning. So, first things first, in the morning when you wake up, make your bed. Someone just sat down and I hope he doesn't mind me talking to my camera in this meeting room. Number 2, this specific tip is about the Pomodoro technique. If you watch a lot of my TikTok videos and even some YouTube videos, I talk about how whenever I study, I use the Pomodoro method. And what it is, it's a method that started way back in like the 19th century, I believe. And it was for workers who wanted to be more productive with their time. So it's working for 25 minutes, very focused, and then taking a 5-minute break. That's the general structure of the method. When I study, it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm writing, I would maybe do like 45 minutes of focused writing or brainstorming and then a 10-minute break. If I'm memorizing, writing note cards, studying for a final, or taking multiple choice question mock exams, I will do 25 minutes of focus and then a 5-minute break. You just have to find what works best for you. And this works best for me as a lazy student because I feel that I'm more productive when I'm extremely focused for a certain period of time, and then I reward myself with a break afterwards. I lost my train of thought, hold on. What was I saying? Yes, okay, Pomodoro technique doesn't even have to be used for studying. It can also be used for chores, Laundry, right? If you have a huge laundry basket, you can fold laundry, super focused for 10 minutes, and then take a 5-minute phone break. Dishes, cleaning the house, you can do 20 minutes of chores, 10-minute break. The Pomodoro technique is applicable to anything really in life, but it works a lot for studying, especially for me as someone who just procrastinates tasks and can get distracted by many things when I'm studying in the library, especially at home too. The third tip that I have for those of you who are lazy students but want to do well, like you want to keep your head above water, is making a to-do list every morning, but an electronic to-do list. Lazy students, you want to put in the least amount of effort, right? But you want to be efficient. I used to handwrite my to-do lists on Post-it notes or on pretty paper and pens. That takes up too much time, especially as someone who likes to perfect my handwriting. I take a lot of time to write out my to-do lists when I was in high school or undergrad. Now that I'm in law school, I keep an electronic task or to-do list through Google, and it's great because you can see the column of tasks beside your Google Calendar. And when you type, it's faster, obviously, than writing. I know there's research out there that says if you write things down, you're more likely to complete them. But like I said, these are tips specifically for students like myself who want to put in minimal effort, but get the best outcome. And for me, I have found that making a to-do list electronically is the most efficient way to get my day started because it takes up the least amount of time. Number 4, when you're done with writing your electronic list, okay, your to-do list, you want to break down your super big tasks and responsibilities of the day. For example, if one of your big tasks for the day is to complete a, let's say, 60-page reading assignment, because that's typical for law school. Say I have a 60-page reading assignment for intellectual property law. Rather than in my task list, seeing that huge task that needs to be completed, I break it down into smaller bite-sized pieces so that I can cross them off my list faster and feel that instant gratification. So if it's 60 pages, and for example, there are specific cases that I have to complete within that 60 pages, I'll break it down by cases instead. Or say, for example, your textbook is set up by chapters and subsections. Instead of seeing 60 pages on my task list, I will say complete chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 4. So that I, from a large task, have created 3 smaller tasks that I can complete quicker and again, receive that instant feeling of success, which as a lazy student helps you maintain motivation to complete your tasks that you created. Now, finally, once you have completed your electronic to-do list in the morning, you've broken down your big tasks into smaller sections, you are now, as a lazy, successful student, you're gonna start with your super easy tasks. I know that sounds counterintuitive because there are a lot of people who say start with your big tasks, complete your super hard ones in the morning so that in the afternoon and in the evening you're only doing easy, simple tasks. I, in my opinion, as a lazy student, recommend starting with something super easy that you can immediately cross off your to-do list, then move to your super big responsibilities like reading 60 pages. For example, let's go all the way back to my first tip, making your bed. That can be your first little step on your to-do list. And once you make that bed in the morning and you see your task list of like 20 things you have to do, you can instantly cross off making your bed. And when you see that crossed off, you feel great, as you should. You should feel great for completing your small tasks just as much as you complete your big ones. So those are my general tips, 5 tips to be exact, to be successful and efficient as a lazy student. I have more, but I don't think I could do a 1 long video without editing if I had done more tips. So I will make a second video with more tips after this one, maybe next week, I'm not sure. If you have any comments or any opinions or tips that you use as a lazy or student who procrastinates, comment them below. Maybe I'll incorporate them in a video next week. Besides that, I hope you have a great week, and I'm gonna go study some more. I'm getting more quiet in my volume because I hear people shuffling outside, and this little office study space is actually on the completely silent floor, and I wasn't sure if these meeting rooms have to be silent too. We'll find out. No one has said anything so far. Okay, anyways, have a great week. Happy studying, and I'll see you guys next week.